right, good morning, class. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Great. Awesome. All right, so today we're going to be talking about point of view in sentences. So let's all read our objective for today.
Students will be able to identify point of view in a sentence.
Excellent. So one of the reasons that we want to be able to identify point of view in a sentence is because it can make a difference on how we read and analyze the story. So if it's a narrator talking, we need to know what the narrator's perspective on the story is in order to effectively analyze it. So that's the background of why we're talking about point of view. So to start off with our point of view lesson, I want to go back and review our personal pronouns because that's going to help us identify our points of view in our sentences. So let's look at our personal pronouns. Let's all say together our first person singular pronoun.
I.
And what is our second person singular pronoun?
You.
And our third person singular pronouns?
He, she, it.
Excellent work. So we already know these pronouns, and we're going to use these pronouns as tools to help us understand point of view. When we're talking about personal pronouns and point of view, also keep in mind that we can always use names as stand-ins for he, she, and it for our third person. So let's take a look at our points of view. There are three different points of view. We have first person, third person limited, and third person omniscient. So let's talk about that first one, first person. Now our first person pronoun is I, so that's going to be our major clue in talking about first person point of view. So when we use first person point of view, the sentence will use the pronoun I, and the narrator will be the person speaking, the person who the action is happening to. So an example of that sentence might be, I decided to go hiking on Saturday. You see it uses that I pronoun. First person is probably going to be the easiest to identify because we can really easily link it back to our personal pronouns. Looking at our next point of view is going to be third person limited. In a third person limited point of view, the narrator is an outside perspective, and the people in the story will be used with things like he, she, or it, or names. That's who's going to be doing the things in the story. Now, the limited piece of this means that the narrator doesn't necessarily know everything that's going on. The narrator is only going to know the things that can be observed objectively and that they can see happening. So in a third person limited point of view, we can think of that as something that you can see happening. So an example of that sentence would be, it was a cold and rainy day when Sam and Maria went for coffee. All of that is objective observations. So we can say for this, what you can see. Now talking about our last point of view, third person omniscient. So looking at the word omniscient, who recognizes a prefix in that word? Andrew.
Omni.
Exactly, and what does omni mean?
All or everything.
Perfect. So looking at this word omniscient, we know that it means all or everything, and that second part of it is going to mean all-knowing. So a third person omniscient point of view means that the narrator knows everything that's happening, not just the things that are objectively observable in the environment. So that means that they can tell emotions and thoughts about the characters. So a sentence example for that might be, even though John and Brittany were playing a friendly game of tennis, Brittany was becoming frustrated by John's joking taunts. So in that sentence, we know that Brittany's getting frustrated, but we can't know that if we aren't an omniscient narrator. Does that kind of make sense so far? So we'll say all-knowing for this one. So let's go ahead and go through a few examples together. So who can read the first practice sentence for me? Taylor.
I was about to leave for the grocery store when I realized that I need to take the dog for a walk.
Perfect. And who can identify what point of view that is? Andrew.
First person.
Excellent. How do you know?
The pronoun used was I.
Great. Now let's take a look at our second sentence. Who can read that one? Megan.
Susan and Pam decided to go to the park.
Perfect. And who can identify the point of view? Taylor.
Third person limited because it doesn't say anything that we can't see and it uses Susan and Pam.
Perfect. We've got those third person names as our nouns, and then we don't know anything other than what is observable. Who can read that last one for me? Brittany.
Jerry and Bob were enjoying a steak dinner when all of a sudden Jerry remembered that he had left the stove on at home.
Excellent. So, what's the point of view on this one? Kendall.
It's third person omniscient because you know what Jerry's thinking.
Exactly right. We've got Jerry and Bob as third person nouns. And then we know that it's omniscient because we know what they're thinking, not just what they're doing. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to hand out some worksheets and you're going to do a little bit of practice on your own, and then we'll get into groups to talk about that as well. All right, give me a thumbs up when you're done with your worksheet. Great job. So find a partner or a group of 3 to talk about your answers as a group.
Okay, no, it looks like we did really well. We got the same thing.
So it seems like we're wrapping up, so clap once if you can hear me. Clap twice. Excellent. Let's go ahead and review just a couple of the answers on that worksheet. So who can read number 1 for me and tell me what answer you got? Brittany.
Johnny and Susie were riding their bikes in the park, and we got third person limited because all you are given is sort of what is objectively observable.
Perfect. Now, who can read, let's do number 4. Megan.
Alex and Elizabeth decided to go to the pool, but Alex was nervous about wearing her new bikini for the first time. Then we got third person omniscient because it's Alex and Elizabeth, and that they had an idea of what she was thinking.
Great work. It seems like we have a pretty good grasp on how this is going so far. So let me know if you have any questions, but otherwise we're going to wrap class up right now. We're going to keep working on this as homework and over the course of the next week. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.